All right, let's jump right into this explainer. We're looking at how Axio Work is basically turning solo founders into fully leveraged startup teams by using local AI agents. We are talking about a tool that isn't just your standard chatbot, but a complete autonomous business team that lives directly on your computer. We have got a ton of ground to cover today. We'll start with the local AI revolution, move into the initial environment setup, look at automating strategic market research, scaling partnership outreach, a quick Shopify API integration guide, and finally, what the agentic business future actually looks like. Let's do this. So, part one, the local AI revolution and privacy-first AI. Look, the old way of scaling a business meant scaling your headcount and hiring a massive org chart. The new way? Leveraging an AI that securely does all that heavy lifting right there on your machine. Think about it. What if one AI could quietly handle half of that org chart, but with your private files never actually leaving your device? That is the crucial point here. This tool, which is trained on 26 years of Alibaba data, by the way, is not just another cloud wrapper. It's a completely private powerhouse. When you're dealing with unreleased strategy decks or sensitive financials, you need absolute certainty that your data isn't training some global model on an external server somewhere. And this is exactly why this is a real game changer for founders. With traditional outsourced AI, your business context leaves your device and feeds external servers. But with Axio Work's local approach, your financials and your strategy decks stay strictly on your machine. You get the brainpower of a top-tier consulting firm without ever handing over your proprietary customer data. Pretty amazing, right? Okay, moving on to part two, initial environment setup and getting off the ground. Now, you might be wondering how hard this is to set up. Well, what's really interesting is just how lightning fast you can get this environment configured for action. You definitely do not need a PhD in machine learning for this. Let's look at the actual practical steps. First up, you literally just download the macOS file. Make sure you grab the Apple Silicon version if you're on a newer Mac. Then you just create a local folder right on your desktop. Let's call it My Business. Pointing the AI to this specific directory guarantees that absolutely all of your research, your drafts, everything is perfectly organized and 100% private. Then just flip on Chrome Developer Mode to drag and drop the Browser Relay extension. And that Browser Relay extension, it essentially gives the agent eyes to independently research the live web. Once you toggle that extension to a green connected status, your agent is off to the races. It goes out and actively scans places like Blinkit, Amazon, and LinkedIn. It reads live market conditions and inventory levels exactly like a human analyst would, instead of just relying on outdated training data. Part three, automating strategic market research, specifically looking at the Drick coffee case. We wanted to really test this agent's strategic reasoning, right? So we fed it the URL for Drick. That's an Indian direct-to-consumer coffee brand that actually pitched on Shark Tank. And we basically told the AI, make them number one. Now, instead of spitting out generic startup advice, the AI delivered a brilliantly targeted behavioral strategy. It recognized that Blue Tokai was already winning the specialty coffee market, so it explicitly told Drick not to fight that battle. Instead, the AI said Drick needs to win on mood, fun, and versatility by leaning heavily into their boba coffee options. It completely spotted the exact gap for Gen Z consumers. And just look at how it breaks down the execution. This Q1 to Q4 rollout table literally reads like a strategy deck you would pay a massive agency thousands of dollars to create. For Q1 and Q2, it focuses on online discovery strictly on rapid delivery apps like Blinkit and Zepto in dense hubs, while offline it pushes for flagship experience centers and kiosks in corporate parks. Then, by Q3 and Q4, it pivots to launching daily subscriptions and expanding a hub-and-spoke retail model. It's an entire strategic roadmap. All right, part four, scaling partnership outreach with ready-to-send deals. Look, strategy is fantastic, but execution is everything. So we challenged the agent to come up with the top 5 partnership ideas, plus the exact offers needed to actually land those deals. And it absolutely nailed it. It bypassed all that fluffy networking advice and generated highly specific demographic-matched targets. We're talking a pre-workout partnership with CultSit, boardroom collaborations with WeWork, a shopping break partnership with Zudio, sampling campaigns with Swiggy and Zomato, and even an exclusive in-flight coffee route with Akasa Air. It pulled these directly from live web research on their target customers' daily routines. But it gets better. It didn't just give us the ideas, it wrote the actual custom outreach emails. Take this one for CultFit. Hi, we like to install Drick fuel stations in top Bengaluru centers. We offer 15% revenue share plus 1 free Drick for elite members. We handle chillers and stocking. Boom, the deal structure's already baked in, the operational friction is handled, and it is totally ready to send to a contact. Moving to part 5, Shopify API Integration Guide, Building SunSense. For this next test, we're shifting gears into a pure developer guide. We told the agent to autonomously build a direct-to-consumer summer 2026 dropshipping brand from absolute scratch. No product, no logo, just a blank slate. We use the Teams feature to combine 4 specialized agents: the Axio Work team lead, a Shopify operator, an e-commerce mind, and a coder. And they immediately split up the work. The team lead delegated, the e-commerce mind tackled trend analysis, and the others handled product selection and the actual API integrations. It's literally an entire digital organization working in perfect sync. And honestly, here's the craziest part. As a developer, the only manual work you have to do is spend about 3 minutes in the Shopify backend. You just go to dev.shopify.com, create a custom app, which the agent creatively named SunSense, enable the specific API permissions the agent asks for, generate a client ID, rotate the secret, and paste those keys right back into the chat. Then just install the app on your store. That's the whole shebang. While the coder and Shopify operator were busy building out a storefront for cooling towels and UV stickers, the e-commerce mind was crunching Alibaba sourcing data to set a target KPI. It established a concrete business outcome: 100 sales in the first 14 days on a $1,500 ad spend. It didn't just guess a random number, it calculated real supplier costs to project profit margins. Once those API keys cleared, the agent literally built and populated the live Shopify store in a matter of minutes. From a single prompt, it deployed brand colors, hero banners, pricing, and SEO-optimized descriptions. What usually takes a web designer a solid week of endless revisions was just finalized, autonomously, in minutes. Finally, part 6, the agentic business future and autonomous operations. Because, setting up a store is one thing, but running it day to day is where the real friction lies. By simply connecting your Gmail, LinkedIn, and social accounts, you can actually schedule continuous background execution. This means your agent team is quietly running your operations, pulling daily morning competitor watch reports, doing SEO research to generate a content calendar, and even compiling Sunday weekly business reviews. It's doing all of this while your laptop is literally closed. So it all really leaves us with this one massive question. If one single person now has the leverage of an entire team running quietly on their local machine, how will you compete? When a solo founder can execute market research, run partnership outreach, and handle complete technical integrations from a single folder on their desktop, the entire game changes. Something to think about, right?